Welcome to part 2 of Getting Out There. This is the digital version where we talk about getting your work, getting your business out there in the world. Now, the first video is about getting out there as a person, as a photographer, and meeting and networking with people, kind of the real world edition. And this is the digital edition. Now, here's the secret. I'm going to share it with you up front, although there is a key that I'll probably share a little more in depth near the end of the video. But the number one thing to remember is that many of the same rules that we talked about in the first video apply here in the digital world, because it's still about people when you get down to it. I'm going to talk about the solar system method. I'm going to talk about the different platforms individually and how a photographer can use them to their benefit. But let's first get into the very basics, and that really is about people. And this is a uncut version of my videos. Both of these videos are uncut, so I'll have a few moments where I'm trying to figure out where I want to go next. But that's just kind of natural, I guess, when you're creating these types of videos. Uncut, just unfiltered, because sometimes when you take that moment and not worry about all the aesthetics of the video and just share, sometimes you get a little bit deeper and you share a thought in a way that maybe you haven't thought of before, or I give information that maybe I would not have presented in a cut video. It may have ended up on the cutting room floor. So I like to do this once in a while because it really is a much more natural, free-formed way of going about this. And hey, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can see future uploads as I share ways in which you can grow your photography business. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to support you in your mission to grow your business, and of course, overall, support our photography industry, make it healthier with more information. So I think the bottom line is that understanding that it's people that will make or break your success online. Whether you're developing email lists, using social media, even search engine optimization, depends on people. And so you need to take some time to think about where you want to go first. One of the concepts that I often talk about on the Rosh video channel, which is just business and marketing. I talk live these days, just sharing ideas live over there. And what we talk about is 7531, and the one is channel building. So what I recommend in the very beginning is to decide on one channel to develop for your business. Now, this does not mean that you can't use other channels down the road. I mean, omni-channel or multi-channel approach is still very important, but you should start with one to get some traction. And I can talk a little bit about some of the secrets behind this. One of them is them next is a important key, which I'll share with you in a moment. But once you gain traction on Instagram or YouTube or Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook, whichever platform that you prefer, that you feel maybe your audience is on. But these days, if you hit one of the major platforms, you're going to hit some of your audience. Whether it is Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, you're going to find at least some of the key parts of your audience on LinkedIn. So I wouldn't worry about it so much in terms of not being able to find your audience unless it's a very rare niche. I would say just pick the one that you're most comfortable at, because the people in your niche will most likely be there in some form. And if not all of them are there, you can certainly branch off later. But when you work with a platform that you're comfortable with, you're more likely to gain the traction that's needed, because one of the keys to success in social media specifically, and even search engine optimization, is activity and engagement. And when someone comments, especially on Instagram or Facebook, when people share your work, the algorithms will be more likely to share more. The same on LinkedIn. So if you do and create content that gets people to share, that's really important. And sometimes it's looking behind the scenes, helping people get to know more about you, sharing something they may not have known. Don't make it all about you. When you're creating content for this channel, it's not about you, it's about them. And that's where that them next key comes into. You need to first focus on them, but what's the next? The next is getting them to the next piece of content of yours. Keep them on the platform. It doesn't matter where you are digitally. In most cases, especially in social media, the one thing that each one of these platforms wants is for you to keep people on that platform. And so if that is the goal, they appreciate and reward people who bring people to the platform and get people to engage on that platform and to continue to look. So you want to get people to your next video, your next photo, whatever it may be. You want to get people to keep scrolling through your specific account and ultimately not drive them off or in their session. It really is common throughout most of social media that the algorithms work that way. But you have to remember there is somebody on the other side of that account. It's a real person. And you have to take the time to actually get out there and comment on other people's work. Really build real relationships. As I mentioned in the beginning, it's very much like real world networking. If you go into a room and just hand out a bunch of business cards and leave, that's not going to do you any good. If you just put up a paper banner of you and just your business cards, it's not going to do as good of a job as if you actually started building connections with people. Not look at them as numbers or random, avatars, but real people, and actually champion them. Everybody's favorite subject is themselves, and if you can engage them in that way and they feel like, wow, this person really does care about me. They reply to my comments. They actually come to my page and engage with my page too. I am going to become just naturally more loyal to them and want to support them too. So when you want to get out there, we are really, honestly, in a good position as photographers because people enjoy seeing what we're creating, and it makes it a lot easier for us to share our latest work. So I recommend you do that regularly. But like I said, if you are engaging with other photographers or other people, and we'll talk about finding your target market specifically, because that's really important. If you do it wrong, you'll have a bunch of photographers following you, that's fine to build a community, but if photographers are not your target market, that's not going to help you very much. But you do need to take that time to comment and get involved in, say, groups online of people that you want to know you. And if you want chefs to know you, brides to know you, seniors to know you, or architects to know you, interior designers to know you, you need to go into the groups where they are. Now, obviously, when you're dealing with maybe, high school seniors, that can be a touchy area. But you can certainly maybe go to the parent groups or something that's related to the school and be active and engaged related to that to help build the relationships that you're trying to build. And so that's what you really need to start thinking about and strategizing about when developing your plan. Let's talk about the solar system plan in a moment, but first think about who it is you want to target. How can you best engage with them and encourage them to come to your page? Tagging can really work, but that's best with clients specifically, and encouraging them to share your work by sharing them specifically on Facebook, on Instagram, and so forth, and encouraging them to share. Obviously, you're going to put up images that maybe have watermarks or not usable or printable, but you do want to do something, have a plan that's a regular part of your workflow that will engage your target market and your customers to continue to support and refer you. When we create a plan, I often talk about the solar system method, and if you just put in Sillars in YouTube and solar system, you'll find a few videos I have on the solar system method. But ultimately, it's pretty straightforward. It's simply in the center is your website. That is where you convert. That's your sun. And nearby is your blog, and that is where you develop the trust and show the behind the scenes of who you are. It gives people your personality when you develop a plan around your blog and helping them understand who you are as a photographer. Then you have what we refer to as inner planets. Inner planets are generally multimedia sites. Multimedia sites such as Flickr, maybe YouTube, Vimeo. These are sites where you can pull content from and share with your community once you start developing multi-sites. But in the beginning, we'll just have one main site, such as maybe Facebook or Twitter. But these outer planets are where you engage with people to hopefully bring them in. You have people who meet with you on Facebook or LinkedIn, and then you take them to your blog or to your YouTube channel, an inner planet, and then ultimately to your website, which is where you sell. And that's where you have to have a strong website with a good portfolio. And a lot of times, while people are trying to get themselves out there, and we'll talk about search engine optimization in a minute, because that's a great way to get your work out there, we don't have good calls to action. We show our pretty pictures, but we don't tell people how we can actually connect or what are the next steps, or give them a way to contact you. I've seen websites without phone numbers or emails or any way to contact, or it's buried on a contact page, which you don't want. You want something on every single page, so when whatever page people land on, they will have an opportunity to find you. But also, there is a call to action. There is a button to say, connect with me right now, call me right now. And if you don't have those calls to action, it really can make all of your efforts just turn to nothing, because people don't know what to do next. Now, in that solar system method, we have what I refer to as gravity, and that's the pulling people into your sun. And that's SEO, search engine optimization, people typing keywords, looking for specific photography skills in a certain city, and using good search engine optimization, which I have videos on. You can take a look at those. I have a couple specifically for photographers, but using those to pull people in, that's been one of the number one ways I've gotten my work out there. One of the number one ways I've connected with new clients is through search engine optimization, making it really easy to find me. That alone can make a big difference. So start with connecting with people in social media. Start developing your SEO. It's going to take time, but immediately when you start your process, start to collect emails. Maybe you can offer information that maybe your target audience would be interested in. Again, you need to understand who your target audience is. And when you understand who your target audience is, you can offer something they may find valuable enough in which they will give you their name and email, and then they'll download it, and now you have their name and email, and you can continue to market with them. So I think that's one of the best ways to go. Digital, in the world of digital, email is still one of the most powerful methods to promote your work. And it's worked for me. It's worked for me where I've had opportunities for people to give me their email on YouTube videos, on Facebook, as well as my website and blog. And these email lists over time start to build up. It's really important that you make sure you segment those email lists so you know where people came from. So when you send an email out, you can send the right message to the right person. So if somebody download something on a seniors page, you send something to people who are interested in seniors, or maybe people are interested in weddings, they download something on a wedding page, and you can follow up with them because maybe they're going to have other needs such as family portraits or baby photos and things like that. So you want to put them in a funnel that you can follow up with over time. So remember, there's a plan beyond with all this. I mean, there's always something to be doing. The key, though, is to be active. Just like in the real world, being active online and offline both require this activity and persistence. Persistence. You should be going to work every single day, whether you're networking and getting your work out there, online or off. You have to be out there. I mean, that is the key. It's the activity of being out there that gets you out there. I mean, I think a lot of times people think, oh, how do I get out there? Well, if you're asking that question, it's because you're not getting out there. You're not doing the work to get out into the digital world or real world to meet with people. The people that maybe will be able to use your services, but even more importantly, learn to like you, trust you, appreciate your work, and refer you. Generally, especially online. But really in real world too. Make sure you're finding people who can refer you. And that's generally the way I look at it. I don't look at people as, hey, this is my next sale. I look at people as, hey, this is my next referral partner. And when I do that online, it is a much better. How can we support each other? Maybe they're a partner who is going after the same target audience, such as brides, but they have a different offering online than I do. And we can work together to work as maybe micro influencers. See, here's the thing. Everybody is an influencer at some level. And as you develop friends who have some influence, maybe on Instagram, say maybe you only have 500 people following you on Instagram. That's fine. But maybe among your friends, you have 50,000 or 100,000 people following all of you. Well, that's the idea behind them super micro influencers working together. They can actually support each other and grow each other with each of their specialties. So there are many ways to do it, but ultimately it's that activity that we're looking for. And honestly, I think that probably is the best thing you can possibly do, is understand that aspect of developing your digital, getting out there and building your communities. Let's talk briefly about social media and the different types of social media. So Facebook, friends and family. And people say, well, then why would I share my photos and get involved? These are all people who know me. But remember what I said. I said I'm not looking for people who want to buy from me direct online. I'm looking for referral partners. So Facebook is generally an entire group of people who know you, like you, trust you, and would refer you. So when you're showing your images on a regular basis, these are your best possible referral sources. And not only that, you can let them know, hey, if you know somebody who is looking for this type of photography, please pass on my name. Connect with them. Maybe you can tag them and let them know that I'm available to help them out. So that's the way you approach it, especially in the world of Facebook. Instagram, people can find you on Instagram. And there are a lot of photographers out there who are finding work and jobs on Instagram. And the thing is, sometimes you do a really good job and you develop other ways to earn income by sharing your work on Instagram, by becoming an influencer, because you have 20, 50, 100,000 people who really like your focused style of work. Now, I would highly recommend when you select an Instagram topic to stick with that topic and become the expert in that topic on Instagram. Make it very focused. And that's true probably in most social media. Obviously, Facebook, you can be a little bit more open and random because, again, these are people who already know you. But when it comes to, say, Twitter or Instagram or Pinterest, I would really focus. Now, with Pinterest, you can create boards and focus on the different types of photography on the different boards. But for the most part, I'd like to focus on one type per social media platform and account. That's generally the way I like to do it. Another thing I like to consider is, what is the saturation level? I like to take a look at what the in theory, competition is doing. Is there room? Is there a niche within a niche for that area? Think about different ways you can approach it. But it's really crucial. I think a lot of photographers look towards Instagram as an important place to go, and I would agree. But another visual platform is Pinterest, another place where you can really develop. You have to remember, Pinterest is a big search engine. It's a visual search engine. So it's a great opportunity to find people who are looking for something very specific. And if you can dominate that niche, you have a good opportunity to find new clients on Pinterest. LinkedIn, very business to business, but you can also target people with specific titles and within specific groups. So if you're looking for architects, you can go into LinkedIn and find people within groups related to architects and be supportive, not promote and spam, but actually support people. And then once in a while, your answer could be one of your photographs and let them know this is what you do and how you can support them. I find Twitter to be a media stream. It is a media stream. You follow people who have specific information and people follow you that have specific information. And so it's very keyword sensitive. So what I like to do is, again, have that focus. And rather than talk about the photography, talk about the things that my target audience would be interested in. So if you're looking for chefs, well, then talk about things chefs would be interested in. If you're looking for brides or families, think about the things they might be interested in, and that can be really beneficial as you develop that specialty, as you develop that expertise. Twitter is a great place to develop expertise. What else do we have? We have Snapchat. That's more, I think, more the friends and family. I don't like to really push much marketing on Snapchat personally, especially because a lot of times it's among friends that you share there. What else? What else do we have? You have Facebook groups. I've talked about Facebook, but Facebook groups is still a great place, especially if you have a niche, to develop a group of people who are very interested in the niche in which your solution or your photography is part of the solution. Understanding the problem these people have and what is their ultimate goal, and your photography could be part of that solution. And hosting that group can be really effective. LinkedIn has groups too, but they're not as good. They're trying to revamp them, but they're not quite there yet. YouTube, an amazingly powerful platform, but you have to remember that takes a lot of work, a lot of time and energy. However, if you create some really good videos that you can use on your website to help sell and show your expertise, I like to share the idea that sometimes if you just show the end result and your happy clients, it's probably better than a portfolio. It's a testimonial. So using video in general can be really powerful. But if you're good, if you're really good, you can actually use YouTube to promote yourself as a photographer. Now, quite often, you have to share insights on photography to develop yourself as the expert in the photographic field. But you could also, just like the groups, develop a niche in which photography is part of the solution and you're sharing the journey on how to go about it. Maybe it's a vlog. Maybe you're just trying to share your personality, your life as an artist, as a photographer. That's okay too. Just remember, YouTube is really powerful, probably one of the more powerful platforms because people really do connect with you. Video is a great way to go, but just know what it takes to do well on YouTube is probably a little bit tougher than many of the other platforms. So that's it, getting out there digitally. The key is being active. The key is getting out there. And the only people who fail in the digital world, the only people who fail in photography are the ones that give up. We're gonna have ups and downs, we're gonna have our wins and losses, but you have to keep persisting and figure out what it is that your audience, your target audience really wants. Continue to use the combination code, combining different ideas, tactics, strategies, and styles to separate yourself from the competition so you are that expert. And if people want something specific, There's only a couple people who are your competition versus every photographer out there. That is a big key when it comes to developing the combination code, because we want to develop something in which there's little competition. That's the best way to develop and grow your photography business. Hey, I'm looking forward to your questions. Put them down in the comments below. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified next time I upload a video. Looking forward to seeing your comments. Talk to you later.